Hey folks, my name is Eli Camero. I am one of the sales leaders here at Darwinbox. Darwinbox, if you're not familiar, not only are we the fastest growing HCM globally, we are also an AI-driven enterprise HCM. What does AI-driven mean? I bet you could throw a stone and hear a lot of people saying that, and I bet you could throw another stone and meet a lot of people who have AI fatigue. So it's very interesting. Darwinbox, we are about 10 years old. And so if you look at the enterprise HCM landscape, you had sort of the original players, the Infors of the world, the PeopleSofts if we really want to go back, and then we had the success factors. Oracle did their thing, Workday came in as the next generation, ate their lunch. 10 years after Workday came Darwinbox. So we started in APAC, grew like a weed, all across India, all across Southeast Asia, working with everyone in the Philippines, everyone in India, everyone in the Middle East. It's about 2 years ago, we started aggressively expanding in the US. We've always had folks here because it's a system that's built for global companies. If you look at the advances in technology over the last 10, 15, and 20 years, we were able to take advantage of things that today seem commonplace, like building on a graph database, that 10 years ago was an almost heretical idea. That's not how HCM was built, and that's the exact reason why we did it, because we realized that there was an opportunity as the world became increasingly dynamic, as business became increasingly global, to have a system of record that was built for that business. Something that was not just static, but could evolve with you. That's why if you look at our booth, it says evolve or fossilize, because the idea is that the only constant is change. So what really makes Darwinbox different, right? I think particularly it comes down to some of the bets that we made 10 years ago that are really starting to pay off today. So I mentioned again, building on a graph DB. Why does that matter? Because it allows you to keep your permissions and your RBAC more current. Why does that matter? Because if you think about AI today, what is an agent? What does an agent need to be successful? It's two things. You need to have authorization. Do I have permission to do this? And then do I have access to the tools? And so the fact that we can solve for permissions better and keep them current, even if you are a company that's in 60 countries, even if you're a company that does 5 M&As a year, the fact that we can manage all of that means that we are able to drive incredibly different outcomes with the AI that we built. So that was one of the first bets, was to really make sure that we got permissions right by taking advantage of different types of databases. Then, a few years ago, we started building what we call an LLM gateway. Because how do you choose what tool is right for each use case? There's some things that Claude is better for, there's some things that Mistral is better for, there's some things that ChatGPT is better for. And so rather than hooking our wagon to any one star, we started building a while ago an LLM gateway. It does a few things. One is it takes all of your data, all the PII, anonymizes it so you don't have any risk there. Then it makes sure that you are matching the task at hand to the appropriate tool. In addition to telemetry, so you're not blowing up your credits. And if folks who are watching this who don't know what telemetry is, sorry that we got too far into the weeds. But my point basically is that we've taken a fundamentally different approach towards building platforms in AI. And so what that really allowed us to do is, if you think back to the old saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We were able to roll out global payroll in 14 countries in 2 years. We're able to roll out modules that you don't typically see on an HCM, things like expense management, things like employee engagement with a whole social network, intranet, things like employee ticketing. And today, we actually sort of believe, I sort of believe, that HCM is no longer the relevant term. We're talking about what we call EGM, Employee Gateway Management, because that's really what this becomes. This becomes the landing page for the employee. Forget basic things like payroll, forget the basic things I said like ticketing. What if I want to pull in my sales data from my CRM? What if I want to query my tickets in Jira and reassign them? SaaS is collapsing to chat. And we believe that HCM, in particular Darwinbox, has a right to own that because we own the permissions. And also, there's something that we call data entry surface area, which is the amount of people who are required to validate and correct data in a system. Think about ERP data, very important. Fewer than 5% of employees have logins to verify the data. CRM, maybe 20, 30% of your organization has a login to verify the data. HCM, HRTech, every single employee is touching it. Whether you are logging in to verify your home address or the hours that you worked that day, every employee is logging in. SaaS is collapsing to a chatbot, because we built the platform right 10 years ago, because we built the LLM gateway right 2 years ago, we are now about to run far ahead of all of our competitors. We don't need to grow via additive M&A. We can do this organically and continue to evolve at the pace that we need to. Maybe that was more than 4 minutes, but that's the